Headphones are getting better every year. New tech, better sound, smarter noise cancelling, but with so many to choose from, which ones are actually worth it?
Yeah, it's a question we get all of the time, and while there's no single best pair for everyone, there is a best pair for you.
Now, of course, we have tested loads of headphones this year, and in this video, we're breaking down our top picks, covering everything from noise cancelling to comfort to value to sound quality, and of course, the best all-rounders.
Yeah, so if you're trying to find the perfect pair for you, you are in the right place.
But anyway, there is plenty to get through in this video, so let's not hang around any longer, and what better place to start than one of the most competitive categories of them all, noise cancelling.
There are loads of great options out there for this one. Bose, Sennheiser, Apple, but I think this year it's hard to look past the Sony XM6s, right?
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you anymore, Al. I think, to be honest, the XM5s were already some of the best noise cancelling headphones that you could get, even after being around for a while. So when the XM6s dropped a little bit earlier this year, we were both very keen to see just how much better they could actually get. And well, I mean, it turns out quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, Sony's made loads of improvements this year. Sound, design, call quality, all of which I'm sure we'll get into later in this video. But when it comes to pure noise cancelling, these are right at the very top. And the biggest change that probably makes the biggest difference is the new mic setup.
You've now got 12 mics in total, up from 8 on the XM5s. That setup helps the XM6s block out way more of what's going on around you than before, which is no small feat at all.
And those mics also work with Sony's new QN3 processor, which is a big step up on the QM1 chip in the old model.
Not only do they sound great, look great, feel great, but Sony's also taken what was already a class-leading formula in the ANC department and just made it even better.
That's the thing. Noise cancelling isn't just about blocking out as much sound as possible anymore. All of the good headphones can do that. The best, though, do it without harming what you're listening to. And I think that's what these do best.
Now, Al, as for a runner-up, I think we've got to give it to the Bose Quiet Comfort Ultra Gen 2s. Now, Bose have always been a very solid pick if you want complete silence, and this latest version's probably their best yet. Now, I don't think they've got quite the same warmth as the Sonys, but if your goal is total quiet, then Bose still absolutely know what they're doing.
Of course, the AirPod Max also deserve a mention too. They're still a great shout in this category, but you can tell they're getting on a little bit now, especially next to newer models like the XM6s.
Right then, next up, let's talk about comfort, because let's be honest, even the best sounding headphones don't really mean that much if you can't wear them for very long, right?
Exactly. For me, the winner has to be the Sonos Ace. We said it when we first reviewed them back in 2024. They're probably the most comfortable headphones we've tested, and honestly, that still stands today.
Now, no, coming in at just over 300 grams, they're not the lightest headphones in this list, but what I really like most about these is they distribute that weight really well.
Yeah, and those memory foam ear pads make a big difference too. The vegan leather finish feels soft and premium, the ear cups are a nice size that they don't actually press against your ears, and the cushioning is super comfortable too. Sure, there are definitely lighter options out there, but I think the Aces just fit a little bit better.
Yeah, now for me personally, I love that they sit a little bit closer to the head than most over ears, and that clamping force is spot on too. You don't get any of that pinch or fatigue that you sometimes notice after longer listening sessions with something like the Apple AirPods Max, for example.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely tell Sonos spent a lot of time on the design process. I mean, with features like TV audio swap, they knew people were going to be using these for feature-length films or binge-watching sessions. So comfort had to be a part of the brief from day one, and I think they've absolutely nailed it.
Okay, yeah. So if the Sonos Ace have set the bar, then who are our runners-up?
I'd say it's a bit of a shootout between the Sony XM6s and the Sennheiser Momentum 4 Wireless.
Yeah, both of those are very solid options that definitely fall into that all-day comfort bracket. But I think if I had to pick, I'd probably lean slightly more towards Sony, just because they're that little bit lighter on the head.
True. The only thing I will say is the Sennheisers are a little cheaper though, so if you don't mind that slightly weightier fit, they're still going to be a great pick, right? When it comes to battery life, there's really no contest this year. Plenty of brands promise marathon playtimes, but the Cambridge Audio Melomania P100 SE are the best we've tested, and by quite a margin too.
Yeah, Cambridge actually claims up to 100 hours of playback with these with ANC off, and around about 60 hours with it on. And what's really surprising is just how close we actually got to those numbers in our testing.
And for the rare few of you who somehow do manage to drain them, the fast charge features are a lifesaver. 5 minutes plugged in gets you about 2 hours of playback with ANC on. Perfect if you're about to head out the door and realise you've forgotten to charge them.
I think what I really like about these though is that they don't sacrifice anything else either. They still sound fantastic. They look and feel every bit as premium as they perform, and they're properly comfortable too. And when you add that class-leading endurance into the mix, then, well, you're looking at a very good option that I think a lot of you guys will like just as much as we do here.
Now, as for second place, the Marshall Major 5 probably put up the strongest fight. Sure, they don't have ANC, so if that's what you're looking for, then you might want to look elsewhere. But with 100 hours of playtime too, if pure endurance is what you're after, those are another very good option. Next up, the best headphones for workouts. Now, this one didn't take too much debating because while there are plenty of solid options out there, one brand has really made this space their own over the past few years.
Yeah, if you guys are into your fitness or outdoor training, it is really hard to look past Shokz. They've become the go-to for runners, cyclists, and gym goers, and while there are a few models in their lineup that could have taken the top spot, the Open Run Pro 2, which come in at around about £169, are still the ones to beat in my opinion.
Yeah, if you're not familiar, the whole point of these headphones is to let you enjoy your music while still being aware of what's going on around you. Traffic, other people, and things like that.
Exactly, and that's one of the main appeals of Shokz for me. This flagship model uses what they call dual pitch, which combines both bone conduction and air conduction drivers. The bone conduction takes care of the mids and highs, whilst the air conduction driver adds that deeper, more controlled bass. Now the bass has noticeably more weight than the previous model, but it still keeps that clean, open sound that Shokz are known for. It actually brings them much closer to what you'd expect from a good pair of in-ears.
Couldn't agree more. Now, these are probably the best sounding Shokz headphones we've tested, and that balance between awareness and sound quality is exactly what makes them such a great choice for working out. Battery is also up to 12 hours, and they've got a quick charge feature that gives you around 2.5 hours of playback from just 5 minutes of charging. The build quality is great too, and they come in 2 size options. The controls are super easy to use, and they're IP55 rated as well, so you don't have to worry about sweat or a bit of rain. I know the headband design can be a bit like Marmite, but it works for me and is pretty comfortable. Of course, there are a few other similar options in the market. Bose have some decent options, and you'll still see plenty of people training with AirPods, but these are purpose-built for the job. They're solid, comfortable, sound great, and built for movement.
Now, as for our runner-up, well, like we said, Shokz have pretty much locked down this category. Now, we really like the open dots when we tested them earlier this year, but the one that really does stand out as the next best option is the OpenFit 2 Plus.
Yeah. For just a little bit more than the Open Run Pro 2s, these take the same open ear concept but ditch the banded design for a more traditional earhook fit. You still get that open, aware listening experience, just in a smaller, compact and more familiar form with a wireless charging case and Dolby Audio support.
Right then, on to our best pick for outright sound quality. Now, obviously, every set of headphones we've talked about today should sound great. That goes without saying. But this pick is for the audio purists, the ones that value sound quality above all else. And when it comes to that, the Bose and Wilkins Px8 S2s are the best of the bunch in our opinion.
Yeah. Bose have always nailed that hi-fi style tuning, and we were really excited to see them refresh their entire over-ear range earlier this year. The original Px8s were already one of our favourites, but the S2s take that up a notch. Not only are they beautifully built, super comfortable, offer great specs, but they sound far more hi-fi-esque than your typical set of cans.
From the moment you pick them up, everything about them screams quality. The metal accents, the soft nappa leather, the new cable detailing, it's all really, really impressive. Now they have got a bit of weight to them, and they do clamp onto your head a little bit more firmly than some of the other options in this list, but it's never uncomfortable.
The headline change sound quality wise though is that they now use reworked 40mm carbon cone drivers with an all-new chassis, voice coil, suspension and magnet. All of that combines to deliver a cleaner, more precise performance than the previous version. The noise cancelling's also had a nice little upgrade too. It's not quite as strong as the XM6s or something like that, but it's still very efficient and doesn't interfere with the tonal balance of your music.
Now, to be fair, the only real caveat here is the price. They're not cheap, coming in at around about £629 at RRP. But if you want something that nails proper hi-fi quality sound better than everything else, then these are pretty much up there as the best pick.
Now, sticking with Bose and Wilkins, I think for runners-up, it's got to be the Px8 S3s. They're a step down in price, but you're still getting that signature B&W sound, so they make a great choice if you want premium performance without spending at the very top end.
Okay, so let's talk about budget options then, because not everyone wants to spend flagship money on a pair of over-ear headphones. Now, thankfully, Sony have made that decision pretty easy with the WH-CH720Ns, which came out back in 2023, and they've been favourites of ours ever since.
Yeah, we've liked these for a very long time. Even when we first reviewed them, they stood out for how much performance you actually get for the money. They sit right in the middle of Sony's range, above the CH520s, but below the XM6s, and honestly, they've aged really well. For the price, you get a lot. Proper active noise cancellation, a lightweight but sturdy build, and that signature Sony sound that's fun and full of energy. They do lean a little bass heavy out of the box, but you can easily tune that in the Sony headphones app if you want something a bit more balanced.
And the ANC is surprisingly solid for something under £100. Now, it won't give you total silence like some of the more premium models out there, but it does knock out background noise in offices, on commutes, and even on flights pretty effectively. They're also super comfortable too. Lightweight, simple, and easy to wear for long sessions. There's no folding design or carry case, which is a small downside, but the comfort and durability do definitely make up for it. Battery life is also good. You're looking at around 35 hours with ANC on, or up to 50 hours with it off, which means that you can easily go a week between charges.
So yeah, even nearly 2 years after launch, the WH-CH720Ns still hold their own. They're proof that you don't need to spend big to get great sound, reliable ANC, and proper all-day comfort. They've been a go-to recommendation for us for ages, and that hasn't changed.
No. Now, as for our runner-up, we've gone with the Sennheiser Ascentum Plus. Now, most people know Sennheiser for their Momentum range, but when they launched the Ascentum line, it really showed that they could deliver that same great sound without the premium price tag.
If the Sony WH-CH720Ns are the best pick on a tight budget, the Ascentum Plus are the perfect step-up option that still won't break the bank.
Okay then, what about the one that everyone has been waiting for? The best headphones overall. Now, we've talked about both of these models already, and honestly, it's been a pretty close call, but if we had to choose one pair that does do everything brilliantly, it's gotta be the Sony XM6s.
Yeah, I mean, the XM6s really are the full package. Sony's taken everything they've learned from the last few generations and just refined it once again.
Exactly. They're light, they fold flat, and they're super easy to get along with. The sound's got that signature Sony character that's dynamic and full of texture, but still smooth and refined. And the call quality is excellent too. I think if you want one pair that does do everything without compromise, then these are still the ones to beat.
Yeah, spot on. But anyway, who are the runners-up then?
Well, this was a tough one, to be fair. It's been a big year for new contenders. The Px8 S2s are up there, Sennheiser, Bose are also very competitive, but I do think for me that the Sonos Ace just about nab it. We talked about these earlier for comfort, but as a whole package, they're actually a very good alternative. And I think that although they might not quite match Sony for outright noise cancelling, the soundstage, the design, and all of those extra features like TV audio swap and spatial audio support make them a great alternative, especially now that the price has started to come down a little bit. Okay then, so last but by no means least, the best in-ears. Now, we've spent a lot of time in this video covering all of the big over-ear models, but for those of you guys who want something a little bit smaller, a bit lighter and easier to travel with, our top pick are the Sony WF C710Ns.
Sony's been on a roll lately with their budget earbuds, and this latest pair might just be their best yet.
For under 100 quid, you're getting proper active noise cancelling, a more refined sound, and that typically comfortable Sony fit. They're a little bit chunkier than the last model, but I think that's actually helped them feel a bit more secure in the ear, and the new glass blue finish looks really slick in person.
They're also packed with a few handy extras, so IPX4 weatherproofing, responsive touch controls, Bluetooth 5.3 with SBC and AAC support, plus wear detection that pauses the music when you take them out and starts it again when you pop them back in.
Sony's even added an extra mic to each earbud this time, which makes a real difference for ANC, and the sound, well, that's genuinely impressive for the money. They're musical, they're fun, and they're really well balanced.
Battery life is decent too, around 8.5 hours from the buds, up to 30 hours with the case, and you still get multi-point connectivity.
Overall, these are just a really well balanced package, and for the price, I think they'll be a brilliant option for anyone who wants proper ANC and great sound without spending loads.
As for our runner-up, I think it's got to be the Apple AirPods 3. Refreshed in 2025, love or hate Apple, they've nailed it again for iPhone users. They just work. Seamless connection, easy pairing, great feature set, and that classic Apple finish.
Yeah, and that's why they can't quite take the win though. They're perfect for Apple users, but a bit less flexible for literally everyone else. But still, if you're already in that ecosystem, then they're one of the best everyday earbuds that you can buy right now. So there we have it, our picks for the best headphones this year. From budget options to the flagships, every single pair we've talked about in today's video brings something great to the table. And quite honestly, I don't think you can go far wrong with any of them.
Yeah. It's been a seriously strong year for headphones. And the best part is there's something for everyone, whether you care about comfort, sound quality, or just generally getting the best bang for your buck.
Like we always say though, there's no single best pair for everyone. It's really about finding what fits you, what fits your lifestyle, your budget, and of course, what kind of sound you love. But the good news is there are loads of genuinely brilliant options out there this year.
Yeah. And that wraps up our best headphones of 2025. Hopefully it's helped narrow things down a bit, but as always, we'd love to hear what you guys think. Let us know your top picks in the comments below, because I am sure there'll be a few disagreements in there, right?
Yeah, I'm quite interested to see what you guys have got to say on that one. But as always, thank you so much for watching this video. Please don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you found it helpful. And of course, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss our next video.